Alright, let's get into the main event. The fight that everyone really wants to see. I mean, not really, but it still is. Like, this originally was meant to be Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski for the third time, but unfortunately Max Holloway pulled out, and then he said that he was willing to fight again, but by that time, like, the UFC had already made Alexander Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie, so it kind of just is what it is. Like you said, a lot of people would be saying, like, has Chan Sung Jung earned himself another title shot? Not necessarily, but based on the situation that we had, Chen Jung really kind of was the only person to give like a title shot to at the time, because we did need a short notice replacement to fight the great Alexander Volkanovski here. Unfortunately, I mean, we would have loved to see Max Holloway for a third time, and I do think Alexander Volkanovski would beat Max Holloway for a third time, but Chan Sung Jung, I think that he's also going to be a very good live underdog to have in this one here. If you actually look at the odds, Alexander Volkanovski opened as a minus 330 favorite, and now he is sitting at like a minus 833 favorite to plus 450 underdog. And the website that I'm using here is called bestfightodds.com. I know a lot of people do comment on that one there. So a very interesting sort of fight to be looking at here. And if we look at the odds, says Alexander Volkanovski versus Chan Sung Jung, you can get him at best value for minus 670 straight on Unibet, and you can get Chan Sung Jung at plus 550 at Bet365. So hey man, like once again, maybe like if you've got $10 to lose, maybe $10 on Chan Sung Jung would return you a lot more money than $10 on Alexander Volkanovski, that is for sure. So when the fight kind of first opened minus 330, and then it jumped all the way down to like minus 400, and now recently so much money is coming in on Alexander Volkanovski. I think like a lot of money must have come in a few days ago for him to jump from about minus 500 to almost minus 700 in the space of a couple of days. Like, money is coming in on the Volkanovski side. So if you look at Chan Sung Jung, then maybe $10 on Chan Sung Jung. I mean, well, I'm saying if you got $10 to lose, $10 on Chan Sung Jung ain't looking too bad. That is for sure. So yeah, I'm going to be picking Alexander Volkanovski to win this fight, and I do think that the value is sitting in the Alexander Volkanovski inside the distance prop. I got that sitting at about plus 220. I think it's about plus 200 now, because I do think that Alexander Volkanovski is a good enough fighter to finish a guy like Chan Sung Jung. Now, I was seeing people comment like Chan Sung Jung's a dog. He's not the easiest fighter to finish, and he's not. It's very hard to finish a guy like Chan Sung Jung, and he has been in wars in the UFC. So he's signed to the UFC for a very, very long time. And so what happened was he lost to Jose Aldo, and then he went and did like South Korean what's it called, mandatory military for Korea, and then he came back, knocked out Dennis Bermudez in the first round, lost to Yair Rodriguez in the fifth round. And the fight, like that's just unfortunate. But then since then, he's kind of been winning and losing. He did lose to a short-haired Brian Ortega, which is worth noting. Alexander Volkanovski absolutely dominated Brian Ortega about 50-44, 50-43, absolute domination. But hey man, Chan Sung Jung has wins over Dustin Poirier. I mean, Mark Hominick as well, who was pretty good back in the day. But he's been in wars, man. He's fought Jose Aldo as well, been lost in the fourth round. Like, this guy Chan Sung Jung, man, he's been around the block for sure, and he's fought a lot of good levels of competition. But so has Alexander Volkanovski. He beat Brian Ortega, dominated, beat Max Holloway in a fight he won 3-1. I don't care what anyone else has to say. He beat Max Holloway in a fight he won 4-1. Once again, don't care what anyone else has to say. And then beat Jose Aldo by decision. And his last finish came 3 years ago to Chad Mendes. So Alexander Volkanovski, man, you've really got to get a finish, bro. You can't just be getting these decisions. I feel like this is a good opportunity for Alexander Volkanovski to find the finish. I think eventually he's going to wear out on Chan Sung Jung. I do think Chan Sung Jung is a little bit outmatched in this one. Like, his last one was over Dan Ige, where he used a little bit of wrestling, which is kind of interesting, I think Alexander Volkanovski is one of the better, is one of the more well-rounded fighters in the entire UFC. He's shown that he's got good jiu-jitsu. He's shown that he's got good wrestling. He's shown that he's got great striking as well. The leg kicks as well in the first and second round. He's going to absolutely chop away at Chan Sung Jung's legs with those leg kicks for sure in the first couple of rounds. He's going to start working the body. He's going to start looking for a TKO later on the fight, but he's just going to be spending the first 3 rounds working the body, working the legs, and then he's going to work his way upstairs, and I feel like that's when he's going to get the finish over Chan Sung Jung. He's also got insane ground and pound as well, which he should have finished Brian Ortega with, because his stall had to lift him up after the end of the third round and drag him to his corner. That's actually a TKO win for Alexander Volkanovski, but the fight kept on going anyway. I'm picking Alexander Volkanovski to win this fight by TKO, ground and pound, or even just like a KO on the feet. No disrespect to Chan Sung Jung, but I just don't think that he hasn't earned it as much as someone else like Max Holloway has. But at the time, man, this is all we had. This is all we had was Alexander Volkanovski versus Chan Sung Jung, or Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez even. But wouldn't really make sense to give Yair Rodriguez a title shot coming off a loss. So yeah, I'm picking Alexander Volkanovski to win the fight for sure. I think he's going to show up, and he is getting older, so he's going to have to start fighting more often if he wants to become one of the greatest featherweights of all time, because Jose Aldo had 9 title defenses or something crazy like that. So Alexander Volkanovski, man, if you want to build that legacy, bro, you got to fight more often for sure. So yeah, I'm picking Alexander Volkanovski to win the fight. I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be a great fight. I really do.